Hello, YouTube. It is, what day is it today? Tuesday, September 8th. It is the first day back to normal after a Labor Day weekend here in Canada. So Monday, everything was closed. Everybody took the day off. I feel like that's been an extension of my March. I have, when will it be? Yeah, today is the 8th. 10 days from now, it will be officially 6 months since I came home from the office. It looks like things are going to hopefully open up again in a couple of weeks. But yeah, it's been a long time. So this whole everybody's going back to school, this whole Labor Day weekend thing, it all just blurs into one. I was thinking about it the other day, and actually, I took 2 seasons off of work due to the situation that's currently happening in the world. So basically got off at the start of spring, and I was off all of spring, all of summer, and we're going into fall very quickly. So we'll see how that works itself out. But it does look like things are probably going to even out fairly soon. And I'm not exactly excited to have to go back. I'm really enjoying myself right now. But unfortunately, it's one of those things where life is kind of catching up, so you might as well do the responsible thing and go back to work. But it's going to be a real long haul. I don't think I'm going to enjoy it that much, but well, it is what it is. Anyways, I thought, hey, it's a good night. I'm feeling pretty good. Let's see what's happening at Phantasy Star Online. Now, a couple people mentioned last time why I hadn't played Phantasy Star Online 2. I've really been thinking about that because I know it's free right now, and it's pretty accessible. It's one of those things where I really want to kind of jump in and check it out, but at the same time, I don't know if I'd have the commitment that you'd need to kind of make that game, kind of make anything happen in that game for me. Some games, I was thinking about that a lot lately, especially with big, long RPGs, which historically I really, really liked. And I think there was a reason for that. But nowadays, even though I really like them, there's just no possibility that I will ever finish any of them. And Skyrim was a great example of that. Now, I've had Skyrim for PS3 when it first came out. I have Skyrim for PC, which I've actually never installed. And then I picked Skyrim up on the Switch. Thought, hey man, I'm going to play this game. Finally, I can play it portable. I can, whenever I have a couple of minutes here or an hour here, if I'm at the cottage or something like that, and then or if I'm at work for a lunch break, I'll just bust it open. I'll play some Skyrim. But, that game and a lot of games like it, which typically I like, Fallout 3 is always my go-to game. I love that game. But even if you put 1 or 2 hours in it, you still don't feel like you've really accomplished anything. And it just kind of goes on and on and on and on. And I used to really like that game. I used to really like to kind of just zone out and play those games. But nowadays, time's just extremely precious, and I can't. It's not that I can't. There's no way I'm going to be able to do it, put the amount of effort it takes to get any value out of those games, and play them through to the way most people like playing them. You kind of do all the side quests and all that kind of stuff. It would be just a straight playthrough, pretty milquetoast. But anyways, I don't know really where I was going with that, other than the fact that PSO is great. I haven't tried PSO 2 yet because it's a new game and I would have to get into it, and I really don't play a lot of games on PC. I do have quite a few games on PC, but I typically don't play a ton. I'm not familiar with it, so there'll be a learning curve. Sometimes I find with those new games, there's also a community curve that you have to get used to. And I just feel comfortable with PSO 1. It's a game that I've been playing for quite some time now, and I didn't grow up with it, as I've mentioned a couple of times before, but I'm familiar with it. I can pick it up, I can play. Each quest is maybe an hour at the most, so I know how much time I'm going to invest into it. I haven't played PSO2. I haven't really looked into any videos or anything like that. I'm not 100% sure what it looks like in actual gameplay, but I imagine it's similar. Like I said before, it's just another one of those games where it would just another thing to put on the pile of the ever-growing backlog. Thanks to the Switch, including my physical collection, my digital collection is quite large. I had to actually up the memory card. I had a 128 gig card, and I boosted it up to 256 just because, mostly because of the BioShock collection and the Borderlands collection. Both those games combined take up 100 gigs, so really there's no point in buying the physical copies, but the physical copies were actually cheaper than the digital copies, so I picked those up. Maybe you save some space, I'm not 100% sure. So anyways, yeah, it's a lot of gaming. Speaking of gaming, let's quit blabbering right now and get into it. So let's go back to our gaming screen. Let's fire up the Dreamcast and see who we can find online. All right, what's going on in the chat? Holy smokes, got quite a few folks here already. Thank you everybody for checking in. Yes, I'm holding you that sandwich, don't you worry, buddy. Showing us how to recover your old PSO character using the Flash utility and server-side backup. Yes and no. I mean, to do it is pretty easy if you have a character on the backup. The only problem is that I think I deleted it from the actual VMU section, so I don't know if I could back it up from the server side. Haven't tried. I don't know if I've actually backed this character up on the server. I probably have. I don't know if that overrides it or not. I just know that the character I had previously, I shouldn't have done it, is what it amounts to. I should have thought the whole process through a little bit more, and I didn't, and I kind of jumped the gun, and I believe I overrode my old character. It's no longer on the VMU as far as I can tell, and even after flashing the BIOS and reinstalling it again, reinstalling the original serial, I can't find that character anymore. So yeah, it is what it is. All right, let's see what we're doing here. So let's go and hit the X button to swap disks with the patcher. Go to the loader, and here we are. We're going to hit start to load all of the patches. I don't think I've played. Oh, sorry, we got to open it up first. So open up the door. So the one perk of having the USB GD-ROM is it's really easy to do disk swaps. Okay, start, load all patches. All right, here we go. Okay, I got to adjust myself here. Get my mic more straightened around. It's kind of on a lazy angle. There we go. I really like this mic, but the low noise floor means if I don't have it super close, it's not picking up anything. Okay, what else is going on? Love to see the stream. Thank you. Legendary. I'll take it. Yes, Michael, thank you. If everybody could jump in and boost me up to level 20, that would be great. Only because, normal level is what it is, but it's really once you get past 20 that it starts getting exciting. Are you telling me I've put in 4 hours already and I've only been level 9? Wow. PSO, you are a harsh mistress. Online mode. Yes, we are using the broadband adapter. We are not using the DreamPi. I have not used my DreamPi in some time, and I noticed there's actually quite a few games that, since I kind of more or less stopped playing online, have gone live through the Dreamcast live site, and they look really interesting. Gundam looks really cool. I want to check that out at some point. I have a hard copy of that, plus, with the USB GD-ROM, anything's possible. Okay, who do we got in here? 1 team, 0. Oh, 3 teams, 3 users. Okay, well, let's see what's going on in Altamira. Block 1, perfect. Okay, maybe we'll get lucky. Okay, last updated on the server. Cool. All right, let's see who we got here. It might be just GameCube players tonight. Organize, join. Ultimate and Ultimate. All right, doesn't look like it's gonna happen. Change ship. Let's see what's going on in Acilia. Maybe we'll find a boring old normal user there. Okay, organize team, join team, and nobody. So that tells me that it's either a GameCube player or a bot. Okay, change ship. Who else do we got? Anybody in Vega? No. Palm Costa? No. Oh, we got another person here. Or actually, that could still be my character. Sometimes it ghosts a little bit after you, Oh, hey. We got somebody on my level. Cool. Let's say hello. Hola. All right. Maybe we will jump in here, create a team. PSO version 2, team name, UGB, of course. Bang, and register. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to open up a team, and whoever wants to join can join. All right. Oh, heard something going on there. Does that mean somebody's kind of joining in as I'm loading up the team? Hey, great, we got Citrus. Now, who is Citrus? Are they in the chat? Gen 6 Gamer. Oh, you can recover. Cool. Let me know. How now, is it the way I think you're going to have to do it? Is have the same... Like, if I register with the original serial number, and I don't know, go to a different slot, because I use the 4-slot VMU, and then, I don't know, can I recover that way? I don't know. I love Skyrim, and I have it on my PC to stream. You know, it's Skyrim, again, it's a great game. It's just one of those games I just, oh man, if I was a little bit younger and I didn't have so many responsibilities, I could totally play it. Feel like doing a forest run till more folks drop in. All right, let's see if we can get this person to join us. Item pack. What's my mag? Did I? Okay. Probably should have put my mag back in the bank before I left the last game. All right, sweet. So I've got to figure out what to feed this mag. I think dye fluids are probably still the best. It hasn't evolved yet. And I want to kind of give it a lot more... obviously want to give it more sort of concentration on mind attributes, but... Oh, cool. Cookie's joining us. Nice. Another level 8 player. Now, if we can get a person here who's like level, I don't know, 20 or higher, that might be able to sort of carry us a little bit, we will be all set. Okay. Hey, we are just in the forest doing a run, seeing who else joins. All right. Let's see how many of these guys we can tag and try to get as many level ups as we possibly can before we complete this round. Now, we might just run through the forest. We might not be able to do a quest tonight. Kind of all really depends on... We must never surrender. Yes. As the late great... He's not late, he's still around. Mr. Corey Hart, Canada's own, said... Was it Corey Hart who did Never Surrender? I can't even remember. I know he did Sunglasses at Night. I feel like he did Never Surrender as well. Did he Never Surrender? A quick Google search would probably answer that. Level 10. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Alright. I guess we'll take as much Masetta as possible, only because... Oh shoot, did somebody... No. Well, that guy already ran away. Okay, so there must be a distance thing on these lightning attacks. So I'm clearly filled up on monofluid. Do not require that right now. That's okay. We may or may not run back here at some point. So let's just stock up. And leave that there just in case. Bang, bang, bang. Oh, nice. Okay. Uh-oh, shoot. What did I do? There we go, okay. So it appears as though... Oh, I should probably actually check my mag and see if I can start feeding it just to kind of get the sync going. Now I do have the actual official manual for PSO. And it was quite useful when I first started playing, and clearly I've forgotten a lot of some of the technique and all that kind of stuff to the game, but I should probably leaf through it at some point and just seeing what kind of ways I should start evolving my mag, or any mag in particular, especially for this kind of character. Okay, item, mag, give. Now he was doing really well on dye fluids. Let's keep doing the dye fluids. In fact, if dye fluids are good, no, we don't have any tri fluids as of yet. That's okay. Okay, so sync is clearly boosting, so let's just keep doing what we're doing here. Alright, was there anything there? It doesn't appear so. Maybe there was just a button. Okay, where are we going now, folks? Okay, we don't need monomate. Now, wasn't there a gate or something? No. This is still closed. Okay, it's opening up. Sweet. So there must have been a button there that my teammates hit. I still cannot get over. So right now, if you're looking at this and you're wondering, like, okay, this guy must be emulating the game. Now, there's all sorts of really cool ways to emulate Dreamcast. Now, I'm really tempted to get one of those. It's not the Adreno Boy. It's what's that new handheld system that I think it's not. I think with the Raspberry Pi 4 you can even do it with Recalbox. But I was looking at some videos of people emulating Dreamcast, and it looks fantastic. Like they're almost there. Like they've almost got the portable hardware power to actually do it. It did look as though some of the games were chopping a bit, unfortunately, but for the most part, it looked like it was just flawless, especially with some of the games that I would like. You would think Sonic Adventure would take up a lot of resources on whatever CPU that you've got installed on one of those little, you know, those little board computers that people are making nowadays. Clearly, like Raspberry Pi 4 and the Adreno is kind of like the more popular ones, but there's all sorts of little computer on a chip type things floating around nowadays, and yeah, they're just getting pretty amazing. Like before, like I started making my first emulation box, I think with the Raspberry Pi 2, and it could do everything pretty well. Didn't really notice too many issues, except when I tried to do particularly N64. Now the only way, it's dangerous to go alone. That would be a Legend of Zelda reference, I do believe. I think I have a shirt that actually says it's dangerous to go alone in my closet, and it's got a picture of Link on it. And when I say I think, it means I do. I sold a lot of my little gimmicky shirts quite some time ago. I've still got quite a few on eBay, actually. A lot of old band t-shirts and things like that. Stuff that I've just never wear for whatever reason. But I'm starting to realize like a lot of that stuff I sold, and it's always hard to tell what kids are like, but just looking back at my own kids and seeing kind of where their interests are lying, I'm like, ah, man, they probably would have thought that that was cool in 10, 15 years or so. Maybe I should have held on to that stuff, but you know, it's just stuff. I don't really want to hold on to a lot of stuff. I believe Paul Stanley of KISS put it best. Some things are worth having, not everything is worth keeping. I think I'll keep my kids. But some of the more gimmicky stuff can go. Okay. Okay, and let's see if we got anything going on there. I believe there's some goodies over here too. Let's snag them. I'm not sure if this gate unlocks more than just this little treasure trove. I do believe that once I do this, I'm going to summon a few monsters, but that's okay. All right. Oh no, maybe my teammates already got them. Okay, do we want to go through here? Can't remember. I think we do before we go to Forest 2. I can't remember. Okay, I'm leading my team in the wrong direction. Okay. Oh, geez, that's why, because I'm on a disc. It's like, why am I getting this little information dialogue box? I already know that, but okay, it was because I was on a disc. Fair enough. Speaking of games, Nintendo Switch, everything that's coming out, I actually pulled the trigger not too long ago at the wire on Sunday and pre-ordered the limited run copy of Grandia, the Grandia HD collection. Now, I have actually made quite a few it's all good here. Oh, I see it's raining out in the game. I think that people were making a little bit of what's it called there, double entendre. I don't know, maybe it's my own filthy mind. But anyways, yeah, I ended up pulling the trigger and getting the Grandia 2 physical copy from Limited Run Games. Now, Limited Run, I've made quite a few purchases through them, and as of now, have not really received a whole ton back. So, Limited Run, you know, most people are familiar with them and what they do. They make physical copies of a lot of digital-only titles, and some of them look pretty cool, but the only one that I've received from an order so far is my physical copy of Real Mist. Now, I ordered Real Mist, and it's one of those things where like I immediately kind of regretted it, because even though Mist is a game that on its surface looks really, really interesting, and it is an interesting game, and most people that kind of grew up in early PC days know why it's important in gaming, like especially with like the puzzle aspect was just phenomenal. There were a lot of puzzle games like that, especially on early PC, but nothing really with that kind of 3D world building type look. Now, the 3D elements in Real Mist are a lot more advanced than the original Mist. Let's get this guy here. But it was still really cool. It was like really beautiful to look at and stuff like that. And everybody had Mist back in the day. I've actually got a couple versions. I've actually got a box copy of that kicking around. I'll break it down. Where's my box copy of that? Here. I'm going to get it right now. Why not? Look at that. This is how much I love Mist. Kind of, supposedly. I don't really love that game, sorry. It's an okay game. It's really, really dated. It's really hard to play nowadays. And I thought, okay, Real Mist is going to make it more playable. It does not. It is still really difficult. It's... What it is it's like a lot of those... It's similar to games like... Except you're using clues. Point-and-click games. Similar to those LucasArts point-and-click games. Except it gives you that little extra twist of having that beautiful 3D rendered world. The thing is those games are incredibly frustrating for many, many reasons. Okay, where did my team go? They over here? Yes, they are. Okay, cool. Some of the clues are so vague and abstract that it's nearly impossible to complete them without having some form of cheat, and that can look like, you know, just going to get a walkthrough or something like that. But, you know, oftentimes just trying to figure them out on your own, good luck. It is going to drive you crazy. And I discovered that with Real Myst. I started playing it and I forgot how to play Myst. I know that when I was younger I played it through, and I was kind of going through from room to room, and I'm like, oh god, this is going to drive me crazy. So I should have realized, because like even back in the day, come on, monofluid, where are you, monomates? Bang, bang, bang. There we go. Even back in the day, I didn't really like that game. I like the idea of that game more than I like the game. And I actually had the books that went along with it. There's a lot of these storybooks and stuff like that that you could buy that accompanied the story of Myst and the whole world and everything like that. And I read through those, and they were even just as bizarre and confusing as the game in and of itself. But, okay, did we open the store yet? Okay, maybe we just have to finish off these guys. That's the problem. So I only put in about an hour of it before I put it down. I was like, ah, man, I think I might actually have some better things to play right now, unfortunately. So that was the first thing I've got from Limited Run that I ordered. Now I have bought some things off of eBay from, you know, games that I missed out on during its original pressing because I didn't have a Switch at that time. But I also ordered Panzer Dragoon, that remastered collection. That's another game that I'm sure once it arrives. I know it's on Switch digitally, but I ended up getting the physical copy just because it kind of looked cool. It came in a Sega Saturn case and everything like that. So I thought that would be kind of neat to throw on the shelf. Why not? But due to what kind of happened in the world, there's a shipping delay and a creation delay. So that's going to be on hold for a little while. I also ordered the Switch version of Pod Racer, which, you know, is going to arrive whenever it arrives, but I ended up just breaking down because it was really cheap on the eShop, and I actually had quite a few points to use by the end of November before they expire, and I decided, okay, well, I'll just get Pod Racer for what they're asking. And Pod Racer, I've seen a couple of really superficial reviews on it, and I'm not going to give a full review of it because I think most people kind of know what Pod Racer is. Infinitely better than the movie, but it is a fantastic port on the Switch. It plays wonderful. I know they remastered it not too long ago for PC, and I was tempted to get it, but I've actually got two versions of Episode 1 Pod Racer for the PC, the original versions. In fact, hey, why not? Since we're showing off PC games, let me just grab it from top shelf. So for you, those of you that do not know, it actually came originally on PC with two different covers. So I have both variants of the covers for Episode 1 Pod Racer. Both those I found at thrift stores for, you know, $2 or $3. Love Pod Racer. And yeah, I just found myself just loving it on the Switch. I was just gripped to it. I was really impressed with the port, like how quick it was, how smooth it was. I really wasn't expecting it not to be smooth. It's a 20-year-old game now at this point, but yeah, it looked great, and even the remastering they did on it looks fantastic as well. Now, they didn't upscale the resolution, which I'm fine with because this is the way I remember the game. In fact, so here's the thing. I'm not a Star Wars guy at all. I like the original trilogy. It's good for what it is. I watched it a lot of times as a kid. I have the Blu-rays of the original trilogy. It looks good. It'd be nice if they put out the theatrical version, but I also have, in the Blu-ray version, I have copies of when they originally made the widescreen versions and the full screen versions of the limited edition of the original trilogy. If you got the limited edition, they included a bonus disc that had the original theatrical version of Star Wars 1, 2, or 4, 5, and 6. The only problem with those DVD versions was it was a matted widescreen. So it says it's in widescreen, and it is, but it's matted. So what that means is it's matted against a 4:3 ratio. So you've got boxes on the top and the bottom and the left and the right because of the way it is. So it's a really small, really low res image. Unfortunately, it's not anamorphic, and there's no way around it right now. Like, that's the only version you can get for the of the original trilogy in digital format. Now there is like if you Google it, you'll find it. There's a group of people that have apparently found the original cans of the original trilogy, and they're remastering it their own way in 4K. I don't know what that looks like or what the how that project's going to turn out. It kind of looks neat, but I'm not really that huge of a fan. I do enjoy the original trilogy for what it is, but I only revisit it because I kind of grew up on it, I suppose. Sweet, here we go. And in high school, when episode 1 came out, I had a lot of friends that were really excited about it. I didn't quite feel that same excitement. I guess by watching the trailers even, I felt like, this doesn't even really feel like a real movie. That makes sense. Like, just watching it, I was like, it didn't look cheap, but it just looked so fake. And when I remember watching Star Wars as a kid, it was like all about that sort of like organic, tactile feel to the environments, to the characters, and everything in episode 1 just looks so digital. Just really, like, especially for the time, like, it's shocking how backwards digital, like CGI and everything like that, has sort of regressed. Everything looks really spongy, and like the textures don't quite blend in with the real environment or anything like that. When you watch the original Jurassic Park, granted the original Jurassic Park only had, I think, about 3 or 4 minutes of actual CGI. The majority of it was done through like camera tricks and puppetry and stuff like that. But that CGI, more or less still holds up, believe it or not. You watch that one and you're like, yeah, this works. Now again, it's CGI used properly. It's CGI used to augment what's already happening. It's not CGI replacing what's already happening. So I think that plays a big part in it. And what I mean by that is, like, CGI works when it's like, if you have a tactile puppet, and let's say it, you leave the face blank, right? And then what happens is you just fill it in with like a digital image, and that works out a lot better than making a full digital creature. It looks like it's interacting with the environment. Do we have any? Dang. Okay. Well, maybe we can use some monofluids then. Okay, what do we got here? Anything that we can get rid of? Probably. Oh, what do we got here? Any slots? Oh, what barrier wouldn't have a slot? Okay, we should probably actually equip that. 1 slot. Ooh, what do we got here? Okay, well, maybe we'll use that because actually, yeah, we'll use that, I think. Okay, it's got 1 slot. I have 1 slot. Okay. All right, sweet. So we got another. Oh, wow. Okay, Blue's joining us. Blue has quite an advanced character, so thank you for jumping in. Let's just let. Caves are cool. I'm good with a quick quest as well. Okay, so let's Just a little bit. Okay, what do we got here? Now this. Okay, let's equip that handgun, and I think the frames we all have are... kind of the best we're gonna get. Okay. Sell. Let's sell. What do we got? Okay, we'll keep that for now. We'll get rid of that. Well, you know what? Let's see. Now we'll sell it because I'm not really a melee type person. Saber +2. No, but you know what? Right now, for the native stuff, we might as well keep that. What's this do? Anything? Nothing. Okay, we got a mono grinder, so we'll use that. Item. What are we gonna use it at? Should we use it on our handgun? Ah, why not? We'll find a ton of them. Done. Okay, mag. Give item. Mono fluid. Give item. Mono fluid. Okay, not syncing up because I need dye fluids. Nothing in the shop as of yet. Okay, let's see if we have anything in the bank actually. Because we want our little... Do we have anything? Item. Mono. Okay, we don't have anything. Okay. Looking for dye fluids. If anyone's holding. Yeah, so anyways, I remember seeing it in theaters and I was like, what? Like, even back then, like, I couldn't believe how bad that movie was. It was just, it looks so soulless, and there's nothing I could say about it that hasn't been said before, except for the fact that then I went to my friend Steve's house and he had a pirated copy of Episode 1 Pod Racer, and I thought, oh, the movie was terrible, but okay, why do you have this game? And we started playing it, and it was like, holy shit, this game is so much fun. And yeah, I was just amazed. Like, I'm not really a big racing game fan, but this game was just so good. And actually, let's switch back to this camera. And oh, dropped 8 for you. Okay, sweet. Sweet. Back in... Oh, I should have been paying more attention to... Oh, so much for my escape doll. Alright, let's go back here and load up. Yeah, so anyways, we started playing it, and I'm not really a big racing guy, but like, oh man, this is fun. And I think it's because it's really not that complicated. There are some strategies that you should probably use when playing that game. I think in particular, utilizing the junkyard, which is pretty easy, like a pretty simplistic strategy to use. Just, you know, if you're going to find gear for cheap, you might as well go to the junkyard. Where abouts did you drop them? Oh, there we go. Oh, cool. None in the shop when I looked. Anyway, so I downloaded it to my good old Switch, and that's primarily what I've been playing, to be honest. just that game. And then I was looking forward to a couple of other orders from Limited Run as well. Like I ended up ordering Eve's Origins, a couple other games where I'm like, I kind of had sober second thought when I got them. They look kind of fun. Probably due to level. Yeah, that's right. They looked fun when I first saw them, but then I was like, oh man, I probably don't need this game. So I ended up getting Legacy of the Wizard on pre-order as well. And what else did I get? I got a couple of them during that round. Pod Racer with the Neo. Eggcon Twist. Sorry, not following. Oh, okay, it's a special controller. I'm just using a Pro controller right now. Yeah, I don't have a racing controller or anything for my Switch as of yet, but are you guys in the forest? Nope, in the caves. But I was thinking about getting one. I actually have very few peripherals at the moment. I should probably switch back to my rifle with this guy. Oh, it looks like it's doing okay. Well, that's right. I only got it because... Ah, shit. Okay. I can provide buffs for you. Sweet. I thought I equipped my handgun, but then I realized I'm in the cave, so any kind of, like... attributes that were going to help me against native species are not going to help me in the caves. And then I saw some other things that were coming up with Limited Run. I'm like, those look like fun too. I should probably get some copies of that. So I ended up, Shantae's coming up. I may or may not get that for the Game Boy Color, mostly because I should probably get a flash card at this point. But, you know, I've got an upgraded McWill screen Game Boy Color, which looks fantastic. It's great, that McWill screen in it. Now other cheaper screens have come up since then, and you're probably better off using those. But you know, McWill was the only one offering a solution to the really, really bad Game Boy Color screen at the time. And anyways, I like that. I ended up playing Link's Awakening even before it came out on Switch, which I also own on Switch. I haven't actually broken it out yet, but I do own it on the Switch. But since I've got the Analog Pocket coming in, hopefully sometime in March of 2021, I thought, okay, well, maybe I'll get Shantae as well. Get a couple of interesting GameCube games that are, sorry, not GameCube games, but Game Boy Color games that are sort of fun to play. So I may order that. I've got about, I think it comes out on Friday, and then it'll give you 4 weeks to sort of figure that all out as well. But the thing is, none of these orders are coming through from Limited Run. It's all sort of just waiting to be developed, and it's been quite a few months, and, you know, it's great that these things are coming, but I feel like when they come, they're all going to come at once, and I'm not really going to have any time to enjoy any of them. And because of that, oh, I guess I should use the antidote. See, that's the one thing about having a droid, was I never got poisoned. Okay, let's feed our mag while we're thinking about it. What does a star atomizer do on this guy? Anything? Oh, geez. Okay, that's going to break everything up. Okay, I don't want to do that because it's not allowing me to sync. There we go. Okay, well, let's just stick with dye fluids and boost up our sync. Okay, where to, folks? Are we going through this door? No, we already went through that door. Okay, so let's go back around this way. Nope. Up here. Can we go through that door? Is it going to let us? Nope. Okay, where to, guys? No keyboard. Ah, no problem. I have two. I have the Sega Net board and the regular DC board. Got them when DC stuff was still cheap. And man, oh man, did it ever shoot up. I'm really glad that I picked up a lot of this stuff when it was pretty cheap to get, so. Okay, where to? Oh, we got some mail. Simple mail. Received mail. Hola, amigo. Oh, sweet. So we got some buffs on. Great. Let's colonize here. All right. On we go. Okay, I don't think we're going to make it. I guess a lot of people are pretty bummed out about that Analog Pocket pre-order too, and I can kind of understand why. Now, I've never actually tried to order something from Analog in the past. I've always heard it's quite difficult. So when I jumped on, I really wasn't expecting much, and, you know, actually I was thinking about canceling the order when I first put it in, because I was like, oh man, that's a decent amount of money to be throwing at a system, but I knew it was, if it promises everything that it says it's going to do, it's definitely going to replace, sort of, I'll replace in the sense, I think, of playability, but not replace in the sense of aesthetic, a lot of my console stuff, like, not console stuff, rather, my handheld stuff, especially the Game Boy and things like that. What made me want to start over? You mean character? What was I just saying there? Especially the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color stuff. I think it'll be a really nice replacement. We'll see what it does with the Game Gear. I'm really interested to see what it does with the Lynx, because I have a decent little Lynx collection, which is still relatively cheap to collect for. I do have a lot of the heavy hitters right now. There's a couple of filler titles that, you know, it's one of those consoles. I think there's 76 carts in the entire library. It's one of those consoles I could probably get a complete set for. I think I have 40 carts at the moment. And even a couple of homebrews as well. I ended up picking up, oh, what is that RPG that they had for the Lynx? It's not very good. Wyvern Tale. It's not very good. It's really clunky, really slow, really simplistic, which I don't mind in an RPG. I actually prefer simplistic RPGs like that. Nothing where you're like, oh geez, okay. I'm paralyzed. Item pack. Item. But this one's really simplistic. You know, it's more of a tech demo than anything. Like, hey, you can make an RPG on the Lynx. Now, the thing with the Lynx was you couldn't save anything. They didn't have, the carts were too small to put a battery in, too thin, and the console itself didn't have any way to save any data to it. So everything was sort of pick up and play arcade style. You know, in the spirit of Atari. You know, just sort of quick arcadey style games. Now it does have a lot of really cool games. I like the Lynx. The Lynx is not gimmicky in terms of gameplay. It's actually a really fun console to play with. Not everything is a hit, but the things that hit are really, really good. Like, some of my favorite games are like Stun Runner. That's a great game on the Atari Lynx. Even some games like Dracula, which is a really interesting puzzle-solving game. Now, there was one part to it, I got really far on my own, And then I got to a certain point where I'm like, that's it, I'm going to an FAQ. Like, I'm not going to grind this out. This is driving me crazy. And some of the puzzles are a little bit difficult to figure out, but it's a really interesting game. Oh, here we go. So I like the links. It's got some good stuff. It's got some good titles to it. And you can actually get sort of like new old stock for the links right now. Like I ended up picking up Double Dragon from Telegrams. I can't remember exactly how to pronounce that company now. They have a website. It's really cheap looking, and they're the original publisher of those links titles that are long out of print. But they sell new versions of it. Now the artwork is slightly different, but it's not a bootleg. It's not a homebrew. It's a legitimate version of the game that you can buy. Now you can buy Double Dragon in box for several $100s on eBay, or you can buy this reprint. I guess it would be considered a reprint because it's the same game by the original publisher for, I don't know, $50 or whatever it cost. Now, Double Dragon on the links is not very fun. It's really clunky. Probably no more clunky than the arcade version. I was never really a huge fan of Double Dragon 1. I really liked Double Dragon 2. I thought that the mechanics in that were a lot better than Double Dragon 1. Double Dragon 3, interestingly enough, like on the NES, I had that as a kid. And it probably partly was due to the fact that a lot of us as kids didn't know any better. It was like, okay, well, this is a Double Dragon game. Clearly there was some quality control being done here. Couldn't possibly be a bad game. I'm just a bad player, but you know, it was, I guess, in retrospect, a kind of a bad game. Okay, we'll flip the other ones. But yeah, it was a lot of, like, took a lot of grinding, but oh shoot. But I ended up actually completing that without having to use any cheats or anything. Back to Blue's question. So, like, why did I have to restart my character? I think I mentioned it in the last stream, but I'll mention it again just to kind of keep people sort of up to date. Previously, I had a character that was really long on the tooth. It was, what was I at before? Like level 120 something? It could have been higher. I couldn't even remember. But I ended up getting the DC HDMI mod kit. And I thought I could do it myself. And I probably could have if I took more time, but I ended up screwing up on soldering the ribbon cable onto the board. And I kind of got frustrated, and I sent, you know, I gave up on it. I didn't want to have to fix the board and make traces and all that kind of stuff. And that's the one thing when you're doing these kind of projects is you just got to be in the right mindset. You got to have some sense of like flow state, I think, especially if you're a person like me that doesn't do this sort of stuff all the time. Really helps to just be in a state of mind where you're very confident in what you're doing. So anyways, I screwed up. I have many Dreamcasts kicking around, so I ended up... Okay, is this where the next board is? I can't remember. Or not board, rather, button. And I ended up ripping the... Okay, did we open it? Did we open it? Okay, I can stay here. I can't. Okay, we're good to go. Perfect. And I ended up sending that board back to Dan over at his shop, who makes the DC HDMI mod, and just gave him what he asked for the install and the shipping. Quite frankly, I was like, I'm in so deep right now, I don't really care. Part of it was I wanted the challenge of doing it on my own. The other part was it's just cheaper to kind of do the install on your own. But unfortunately, it ended up costing me more in the end because I ended up not being able to do the install properly. So Long story short, had the new board installed, and when I loaded up PSO, I completely forgot that I have multiple versions of this on disk, and I grabbed the wrong version with the wrong serial, so the serial didn't associate with my character account, and I couldn't find my character, and I panicked, and I ended up creating a new character because I was just, I was just kind of excited to try out PSO on the stream, particularly using the DC HDMI mod. So what ended up happening was, I believe I overwrote my previous character, unfortunately, and created this new one. Now, it would have been nice to keep the old character as well, but I was contemplating starting up a new character anyways, just because I had the droid for so long, and you can only do so much with the droid. From what I understand with the character class that I picked now, I'm sort of, when you pick a human character in any kind of RPG, they're just kind of like middle of the road, just sort of good characters. This is sort of what I got going on right now. Like, it's just a good all-around character, not strong in any one department, but it's not going to fail you either. So it can use tech pretty well, it can use weapons pretty well. It's just an overall good character. I was kind of thinking about going full on tech, but I decided with this class instead, so that's where we're at. Now, in the chat earlier, some people were mentioning that I could possibly revive my old character via the server because the save data is still up there. I think what I'm going to have to do is email PSO Palace and see if they can get me that information. Because if they can, that would be fantastic. If they could just kind of walk me through how to do that, if I need an empty block of my VMU, and see if I can if I can get the backup data from the server back onto my VMU, because there was a lot of interesting things that I had with that character, but at the moment it appears as though it's gone. Dive fluid. Give item. Give item. Level up. Sweet. Give item. My VMU needs batteries. Oh, I gave up on batteries a long time ago. Actually, with the 4-slot VMU, you don't even use batteries, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't take batteries because it doesn't have the visual. It's just a memory card. I shouldn't even call it a VMU because there's no visual component to it. It's just simply a 4 times memory card, which is okay. I mean, I guess, well, there are definitely parts of the VMU which I like. I like the fact that it's got that little LCD screen, and it's kind of cool to look at it, but you never really use it in game. And I did download a few games that you can install directly to your VMU to play, and they're obviously gimmicky. Technically, they're kind of interesting, and I've seen people actually put little Raspberry Pi Zeros into VMUs as well and make them into interesting little Raspberry Pi handheld devices. But since I don't really look at it, I'm quite fine with the 4-slot right now. And I've had it for quite some time, actually, since I got it. Again, back when you can get Dreamcast stuff for cheap, even on good old eBay. I think I got all of the, I got a board, I think I got a Sega Dreamcast Sport Edition, a whole bunch of other stuff. I got a developer's cable. I've got the, what's it called there? The adapter for PlayStation 1 controllers and stuff like that. I think I won that auction or something for about, geez, like $60. It was super cheap. And actually, I ended up getting, you're not supposed to do this on eBay, but I did it anyways, was this guy had a huge Dreamcast lot, and I looked at it, and he was in Toronto, and I just contacted him off eBay. I'm like, hey man, listen, if you want to pay the fees and risk somebody kind of claiming that what they received wasn't what was shown in the auction, you might be able to roll that dice and make a little bit extra cash, or what I'm offering you is $300 cash and I can come pick it up. And he ended up biting, and it was a good haul. It was like a boxed box Sega Dreamcast, box controller, box fishing controller, all the heavy hitters game-wise, like Skies of Arcadia, Shenmue, PSO, what else was in there? Sonic Anniversary Edition. Sealed, I actually did an unboxing video a number of years ago of me breaking the seal on that, which I do not regret. And a whole bunch of other stuff too. I can't even really remember what was in that lot. Now the funny thing is that we both got messages saying that eBay was on to us for making deals outside of eBay, but regardless, it was. I think the seller gets more of a hit than the buyer does. I think the buyer only risks having their account suspended, but in terms of a seller, you still have to pay the final value fees on that. So he probably was really, pissed off because it ended up, the whatever he was asking for buy it now. I think it was like $400 or $500 or something like that. He had to pay the final value fee on that, so he still had to pay $50 or whatever it was, which I shouldn't laugh because I've been there myself, but it's not the way you do it. So eBay scrubs their messages and they look for keywords for making deals outside of eBay. The way I get around that is I actually post things. Like if somebody says, hey, I live in the area, do you want to do a meetup? I'm like, yeah, cool. I'm going to post this to Craigslist. Get in touch with me there. And then what I'll do is I'll post it to Craigslist, and then we can start a message conversation there, trying to arrange whatever kind of deal that we're trying to negotiate. And why I do that is that for whatever reason that still doesn't get scrubbed, so you don't have to pay the final value fee or anything like that when you make deals. And I've done that quite a bit on eBay for just local people, and it works out well for everybody. Some people don't quite understand what I'm asking when I'm like, here, I'm going to post this exact auction to Craigslist. Simply just copy paste into the search bar in Craigslist, and we'll talk there. They find it sketchy for some reason. Like, I don't know, I guess Craigslist has a bit of a reputation, but I'm just trying to make it so that we can both work out a deal and not get penalized. You can get something for cheaper and I don't have to pay a whole bunch of additional fees. Quite frankly, whenever I'm doing deals like that, cash is king. Like, I don't really want to worry about a paper trail that somewhere down the line somebody might have some sort of buyer's remorse or something to that effect, and then they end up claiming me and I'm out the cash and the product. That actually happened quite a bit during this whole lockdown thing, is especially during the first couple of months. Congrats! I moved a lot of product, just clearing out my collections of various things, mostly movies and stuff like that. But I've also never been hit with so many item not received claims in my entire reselling history. I think I got hit with about 6 of them. Caves number 2, sweet. I had something I was sipping on here. Nice little soda water. But since the lockdown is sort of eased up a bit here in Ontario, I did go to a couple of different old haunts that I used to frequent quite regularly, especially like value villages and stuff like that. And surprisingly, I did pick up a lot of cool stuff, but it's lost its fun. Like, not being able to just sort of dip in and dip out. That's I don't want to make it seem like work. As soon as that stuff seems like work to get into a store, I'm checking out. I got better things to do with my time than wait in line to get into a secondhand shop. So I haven't really been participating in that as much as I want. And also, I'm just busy with other things. I really don't... Since everybody kind of locked down and stuff like that, if you're not familiar with what they offered in Canada, you can qualify for certain relief, but you don't really want to squander that on stuff that you don't particularly need either. You kind of, if you're a smart squirrel, you're going to bury that cash and get it for when you really, really need it. but just burning through it and thinking it's free money, that's probably a bad idea. So I've been staying away from that and just sort of keeping to basics more or less. But it is kind of surprising, like how much stuff, you know, and think of me what you will. I got thick skin and I am humble, but how much stuff you find just kind of like laying about in the community. Now where I live, you know, it's, you know, there's people that do okay for themselves, right? And especially during the lockdown when you couldn't go anywhere really. You know, I got kids that need to kind of go out and stretch their wings a little bit. So, you know, we're not staying in the house all day just watching TV. So we're out and about in the world, just kind of walking around, exploring, all that kind of stuff. And the things that people kind of leave, just like, hey, free, take it, curbside stuff is kind of amazing when you think about it. Especially like my entertainment center at home, like my main TV in my house, it's nothing special by today's standards. When I picked it up originally, it was top of the line. It was a Panasonic Viera, a 42-inch, which at the time was fairly large. Now I know that you can obviously go a lot larger than plasma, which still by some enthusiasts is sort of the go-to screen. It's the darks are really good. There's no ghosting. The refresh rate is really decent. The Vieras were known for their glass screens as well. Now they're big, they're heavy, they're hot. They're not smart TVs, but they look good still. They're still 1080p. Obviously, you know, 4K kind of put 1080p to bed, but they're still really good TVs. And for whatever reason, walking around in the community, just kind of like, you know, taking the kids out for walks and just cruising around, I ended up bringing 3 back home just because people curbed them. Actually, I brought more. I probably brought like 6 home, but 3 of them didn't work for whatever reasons. Now I put the voltmeter up to it and checked everything, and it turns out that a lot of the boards were still good, like the power boards and the logic boards, but the screens were just toast. So I ended up ripping those out and selling those on eBay separate for, you know, $50 a piece, and tossed the rest of it. But 3 TVs actually worked, and it's great. I mounted a nice 42-inch LCD TV in my garage. Gave another one to the old man so he can put in his garage, and gave another one to the old man-in-law to put in his garage. So, you know, it's just funny. Like, I can remember how much I paid for my television back in the day, and just how much value it's probably retained in the last 10 years. It really speaks for it really just kind of speaks for, like, oh shoot, tech in general, and how well it holds value. Okay, where did everybody go? Did they go this way? Oh, okay, sweet. Here we are. Catching up. Okay, I feel like I'm ignoring my chat. What's going on here, folks? Oh, internet viewing because you're at work right now? No problem. Hey, thanks, Pixel. Japanese DC, not really. Oh shoot, I'm paralyzed. It's not the Japanese version that's known for its liquid cooling. It's actually the Rev Zero. Now, there was a North American version of the Rev Zero, and I actually have a non-working Rev Zero in my garage. The board is kind of toast on it, but the cooling system still works. So I kind of ripped out the cooling system, and oh, well, I guess I'm not going to get that rifle. Oh, damn, I got to drop some gear. That's what it amounts to. Okay, item pack. Items. How much crap do I have? That's the thing. Sword, okay. Drop. Okay, we'll bring that cane back. Okay, drop. Drop. Gotta make some space is what I gotta make. Cool. Okay, get rid of this. But yeah, it had an interesting heatsink. So it was... Doors open? Okay. Guess we're all going back. Is the door open? Where the it used a liquid cooling system that went to a fan. And it's actually a lot more efficient. It keeps the Dreamcast a lot cooler than the little metal heatsink that they added later on. It was cheaper to do. The only problem I find with the Rev Zeros are a couple of things. Like, certain mods do not work on the Rev Zero, particularly when you're mounting an optical drive emulator. Also, as far as I know, the DC HDMI does not work on the Rev Zero. And also, the case is slightly different. So when you're using a Rev Zero, if you want to do any kind of case modifications, like if you want to replace, like let's say you want a quieter fan in it, you can't really do that with the Rev Zero because the fan is a special metal fan. It's not the cheap plastic fan that's super loud that everybody replaces in their stock version 1 or 2 Dreamcast. So you're stuck with that metal fan, because if you replace the metal fan with a quiet, not like a Noctura fan, what happens is the metal fan is actually connected to, like physically connected to the heatsink. It uses the metal to carry the heat and blow it out of your Dreamcast. So if you replace that with another fan, that whole liquid cooling system is going to be completely useless. So even though I guess in theory the liquid cooling system is probably the better cooling system to get, if you get a quieter fan, I think that offsets what you'll get from optimizing your cooling with the Dreamcast. So I would say just, if you got it, great, but you don't need to actively seek out a Rev Zero Dreamcast if you want to have the best sort of hardware available. And unfortunately, like, I'm not sure 100% why you can't do certain mods to a Rev Zero. I don't know if there's different kind of, like, the BIOS is set up differently or the firmware set up differently or something like that. I mean, it all uses Windows CE still, but for whatever reason, if you do a lot of mods on your system, most people will say, like, not compatible with a Rev Zero Dreamcast. So really, that's all I have to say. It's a cool system. It's a really cool design. It's just that there are some limitations that might be offset by the advantages of having a Zero the advantages of having a 1 or a 2 Dreamcast might offset the advantages of a Zero. Because really, it's just a cooling issue. And I've heard a lot of people saying that going for a Pico cooling system or a Dream PSU, which is what I use, is a bad idea. Like, there's power spikes and everything like that. I have not noticed a power spike. I have not noticed any noise on my gaming, while I'm gaming. I haven't noticed any random shutdowns or anything like that. I don't know if my actual Dreamcast is cooler because of it. I do know there's more space and it gives you more opportunity to do some extra modding if you want. Now, one mod I'd really love to do one day is internally hook up a Dream Pi, so that way I wouldn't have to hook it externally. It would just plug in just like a regular modem would. I think that would be really cool. And it's doable. I've thought it out, like, in my head. I just haven't taken the initiative to actually install it. It's very much doable, especially with the Dream PSU, because it has a couple of breakout points for it where you can do things like tap into an extra 12 or 5 volts. So you can use that to power, like, a Raspberry Pi, for instance. So you don't have to have an external power source. You can just have the Raspberry Pi run off the breakout board on the Dream PSU. It's just a matter of getting the space and, like, figuring out how you would modify a modem to, like, let's say remove the standard modem jack, bring it back to the, like, maybe hardwire it directly into the oh shoot, oh, is there a pattern that we're supposed to use? Hardwire it somehow directly into the Raspberry Pi that you're using. Probably trim back the Raspberry Pi of any components that you don't need, like you're not going to need the HDMI jack or anything like that. Make it nice and thin as possible. Take off those USB ports that you don't need, things like that. And you could probably mount it where the old PSU was, because you've got all that empty space. Power the Dream Pi off, or power the Raspberry Pi off of the breakout board on the Dream PSU. Bring all this circuit, bring the modem back, like unscrew it from the actual housing of the modem. Bring it back there too, so you've got a shorter run. And then from the board, you could do a breakout cable of Ethernet and put that into the casing of the old modem for your Dreamcast. I think that would work. It's just a matter of, like, somebody taking the initiative to actually do it. And I was thinking about doing it at one point, but just kind of time got away with me. I was explaining on the last stream how this year's been kind of a blur. It was good for a lot of reasons, but it was super busy. I wasn't doing anything fun. Well, I shouldn't say that. It wasn't that it wasn't fun. It was just maybe not as casual as things are currently. A lot of work. All right, tag. Okay, I can't remember what that limitation is. That is what? Whatever it is, it seems to be going away. So I'm not going to concern myself with it that much. Okay, is that a new disc? Did we learn a new spell? Okay, core shield. Ooh. Okay, hunters and rangers, psi armor, 0 slots. It's all about the slots, my friends. 0 slots. 1, 2. Okay, what do we got going on here? You know what? We got to go back to town is what we got to do. We got so much stuff going on. Oh. Okay, let's just feed our mag in the meantime. We'll think about this some more. All right, where do we go? Let's go this way. Okay, we just came from that way. Or did we? No. Oh, we can actually use some telepipes, so that is good. Okay, we should probably check which weapon we have and whether or not we need to replace it. So, going back to the Switch. I know we're playing Dreamcast, but I love my Switch. That big announcement about Super Mario All-Stars 3D and how it's going to be limited. I don't quite understand that exactly. Now, from what I understand, it's going to be limited, but it's going to be on sale till March of 2021. So it's not that it's going to be one run and that's all. It appears as though it's going to have several runs, but then it's going to, for whatever reason, lose its licensing, I guess, after March of 2021. Now it's a Nintendo it's a Nintendo property. I don't know how they would lose their licensing. I don't know why they would make it even limited to the eShop. That's kind of what a lot of people thinking are very silly, but also what I think is silly is that how many people say that it's sold out everywhere, like pre-orders are done, and I guess people are worried that it's not going to come back in stock for whatever reason. Now currently you could get that game still. I did pre-order it. You can still get that on Amazon.ca. It's still allowing pre-orders, so I don't know where it's actually limited to, like maybe the States or something like that you can't get it, but currently you can still order it through Amazon.ca. And you know, it'll be a fun game. I've never been a big fan of Mario 64. When it first came out, I remember friends had it. We played it. I thought it was okay-ish. I had it for the DS. I thought, okay, like, finally I'll play it. I've had several Nintendo 64s. I've always sold them. I'm not an N64 fan, mostly because of the controller, but you know, there's never really been any games that I remember as a kid playing that I'm just like, oh man, this is so much fun. I think it was because when I was a kid, when did the Nintendo 64 come out? It was like mid-90s or something like that. I was probably like in my mid-teens. I was probably like 16 or something like that when that first came out. And at that time in my life, I was definitely not into, well, particularly modern video games. It was really rough to get into any video games as a kid because, you know, just growing up, we didn't have a ton of cash. So I wasn't like one of those people that, you know, their parents were buying them toys every other day. It was like, you know, what I had was what I had. So even when I had a Nintendo, I probably only had, when I originally had it, I probably only had like maybe 3 or 4 games until I got into my 20s. And I remember going to college and spending a silly amount of my student loan money on video games at a local pawn shop, like mostly just buying old games. I thought it was fun. I was buying them with my friends and we just collect them and we compare and contrast, like, holy smokes, like, look at what I picked up for $2. And it'd be this old Nintendo games, and they were all like, you know, you get them sealed and, you know, just really abstract games you've never heard of before, and you can get them all for like $1 a piece. It was great. You know, I can remember getting like Metroid sealed for $2, and unfortunately I sold that before I probably should have, clearly with today's market. But, you know, I was happy to get the price I got when I got it back in the day. I actually opened it. It wasn't sealed when I sold it. That was another silly move. But when I picked it up at the time, I wasn't really thinking that these things would be valuable, right? Or at least not as valuable. Okay, Mr. Tecker, do I have anything fun? Okay. Not particularly worried in these. Okay, not particularly worried about these weapons right here. It's that rifle. I want to see what it has to offer. Heart saber. Dun, 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 dun. Panic rifle, okay. Long range rifle that fires a photon bullets. Also has a chance of confusing enemies. Okay, cool. So let's sell what we have here. So we've got a lot of weapons we don't need. Okay, so we're going, what do we have equipped right now? Okay, so heart saber, do we need that? Okay, we don't need this. We don't need this. We don't need this. We don't need this. We have night power already. Maybe we'll just keep that just in case. Okay, let's look at what some of these other things are that we have. This might actually be a better weapon than what I currently have equipped. Okay, we need that, we need that, we need that. Let me know when everyone is... Okay, let's see what I got for equipment. Okay, item pack. Actually, do we have dye fluids yet? Yes, we do! Perfect. Okay, sweet. So let's feed our mag. Dye fluids, yes please. Give item. Give item. Yes, okay, I have a happy mag. And equip. Okay, so what do I want to equip? So I have a panic rifle here, just a regular old boring panic rifle. And Okay, so you know what? We'll keep that. What about frames? Do we have anything particularly with slots? Okay. Good for hunters and rangers. Okay, so we're gonna switch over. Okay, what happened here? Okay, why? There we go. Okay, and yes, there we go. And barrier, core shield. Looks like it's probably... Oh, what do we have here? Ooh, shock handgun. Neat. Thanks. Okay, let's see what the shock handgun does. Equip. Ooh, very cool. Okay, let's sell some of this other stuff and get rolling. So sell. Okay, we'll get rid of that frame. We don't need that anymore because we've got armor. Okay, we'll keep that panic rifle. Get rid of that guy. We'll get rid of that guy. Get rid of that guy because we don't really use sabers. And we'll keep that. Cool. Okay, bye. Do we have more dye fluids? Yes, we do. 3. Thank you very much. And I think we're good to hit the road. All right. So, I think I'm good. Okay, so let's hang out here for a second, and maybe while we're hanging out here, I can catch up with some of you guys. So what's going on in the chat? Yep, it's getting there. You know, there's a lot of people out there. It's very competitive thrifting. I don't know. It's stopped being as much fun as it used to be. Yeah, it is kind of funny how expensive the Saturn got. Now, I've only had... I think I've had a Saturn twice that I found out in the wild, and it was just one of those systems that at the time I probably should have kept it, because now you get all those drives to emulate the optical drive. But at the time it was like, oh man, I'm not getting into the system. There's a couple of cool games on it, but yeah, I just ended up offloading them because I looked at the game price, like, no, this is not happening. Okay. Yes, Sega definitely had some of the best soundtracks, particularly a lot of the RPGs. Holy, those... Like, I've got a couple of records of Sega Dreamcast soundtracks. I've got the Shenmue soundtrack on vinyl, which is fantastic to listen to just on its own. A couple of ports, like, what was that one port? Racing game, it's slipping my mind, but it will come back to me probably in the most inopportune moments. What was that one company called? 8-bit something. 8-bit something. Anyways, they released a bunch of soundtracks on vinyl. I ended up getting the first 7 before I tapped out because I realized, like, oh man, this is going to be a rabbit hole I do not want to go down. But that being said, I've still got a lot of video game soundtracks on vinyl. Just nothing that I picked up recently. Okay, while we're waiting for everybody here, why don't I just show you this nice little pile of stuff I did accumulate recently. So this was kind of a cool find to find out in the wild. I look in the CD section a lot. Sometimes you find games, but I like collecting CDs. I love having hard copies of my digital media because I rip it, add it to my collection. But I always want to have a hard copy. Generally, I'll box it up. But this was cool. So I found Death is one of my favorite metal bands of all time. And I ended up finding the deluxe edition of Sound of Perseverance. So this was the last studio album from Death before the passing of Chuck Schuldiner, unfortunately. Do I want to receive a guild card? Definitely do. Guild card, send my guild card. Send to yes. Send to yes. Send to yes. Let's just be nice and send everybody the guild cards. Yes, please. But that 3-disc edition, I know it goes for a couple $100 nowadays, and it's great. It's got lots of demos and things like that on it. Really glad to have found that. That was kind of a little rarity that I did not expect. This just for fun. I know it's not valuable or anything like that, but I love my Mystery Science Theater 3000. As a kid, I spent a lot of time watching MST3K. It was one of those things where it's like a lot of, like I grew up in really rural northern Ontario. There wasn't a lot to do, and there weren't a lot of people around. I had friends, but they were way far away. You didn't connect with them outside of school as often as you would like to. And one of the consequences like that was that you didn't have a lot of contact with folks. So, MST3K back in the day is like what YouTube was now, except with less interactivity, where, you felt like you were watching those movies with those guys, and you just kind of like hanging out with friends and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun to watch back in the day. I'm so glad I stumbled upon it. And a lot of those episodes still hang out, especially like the first couple of years, when it kind of got a little bit long on the tooth later on, when they started, I don't know. I think when Joel left back in the day, it was one of those things where I thought, okay, well, this is where I'm tapping out. It doesn't feel like MST3K anymore. But Mike did a pretty good job, and Mike was always part of the show. He just wasn't the host, and he's still a really good, it took me a while to come around to him, but Mike was a great host. Anyways, that was volume 1. They've got a couple of good episodes on there. I think my favorite episodes are still Santa Claus versus Conquers the Moon, Martians, Pod People, because I believe Pod People was the first episode I ever watched. It was late night, it makes me wonder as a parent now, is it appropriate to let my kids, I probably was 10 and I was staying up to 2, 3 in the morning just watching TV, because as some of you might remember, at 2, 3 in the morning, right, that's when TV stopped. You got that little song that chimed in, and then that was a wrap. All the stations closed down. So, you were watching late night television. You were watching television till the end of television. And I can remember watching it whatever time it came on, 1 o'clock in the morning maybe, and just watching that all night with my brother. And it was good times. It was a lot of fun. But I have a lot of good memories of that. And when we found that, we didn't really know what we were watching at first. This is a stupid old movie. But then we're like, oh wait, why are those people in front of it watching it, and why are they talking over it? This is kind of, at the time we thought it was kind of stupid, but then we kind of figured out the shtick, and we're like, oh man, this is amazing. And nobody else knows about it. We thought we were the only people in the world that were watching it, and in our little circle we were, but it's public television, so obviously more people were watching it than just us. So yeah, got a lot of fond memories of good old MST3K. That was a good show. It's a shame you can't buy just a box set of everything. Just get the entire MST3K box set. I know you can stream it all from I think if you subscribe to Night Flight, that's another streaming service I may subscribe to at some point. It's fairly cheap, and they've got a lot of cool content on there. But right now I'm subscribed to Disney Plus, Full Moon, and Netflix, and Amazon Prime. So I've got enough streaming services on the go at the moment. I don't need to subscribe to anything more. Oh no. Boom, boom, boom. So anyways, kind of happy to find that. I know it's just DVD and it's really nothing valuable or expensive, but when I take the kids up north and we don't have access to anything on television, like just boring old satellite or whatever, I did bring a Blu-ray player up there so I can throw things on in the background while I'm doing whatever, and that's what I'll be doing. I'll just be throwing on Mystery Science Theater, kicking back and enjoying life when it's 10 o'clock at night and everybody else is in bed. Boom, boom, boom. Get down here. There we go. Okay, so do we all need to stand on here? Yes. No, maybe so. Okay, we need a fourth. There we go. Perfect. All right, going around the corner. I think nowadays the equivalent to MST3K is probably Red Letter Media. Obviously a little bit more mature themed, such as it is, and a little bit more interactive as well. But yeah, those guys, if you haven't watched them before, I'm sure everybody has. Some of those videos are great, and they've turned me on to a lot of things too where I probably wouldn't have watched them otherwise. And also, interestingly enough, like, I've picked up things in the wild. Like I found a DVD copy of Black Cougar, which is one of the videos that they reviewed, and it's a crappy movie. I watched it. It's great for what it is, I guess. I made a copy of it digitally, put it on my hard drive that I keep all my movies on, and then was able to get $150 on eBay for it. And you know, those guys have also done a lot of their original content as well. It's not good. It's pretty bad, especially the earlier stuff that maybe is not so... It's tongue-in-cheek, but maybe not so tongue-in-cheek. Space Cop was kind of fun, but the first one, Feeding Frenzy, oh man, that is a rough go. Anyways, I was browsing on the local Facebook marketplace and somebody was selling a copy on DVD for $2. A little bit out of the way, but I thought, okay, whatever, I'll make the drive. So I drove by. It was only like 20 minutes away. It wasn't too bad, and picked it up for $2 and watched it, and it was really bad. Made a copy with the commentary track because that's more what I was interested in than anything else, and ended up getting $115 on eBay for it. So, you know, made my money back. I'm just happy with that. But yeah, I would say that's kind of like my more modern day equivalent to my old MST3K days. And some of those, like I said, some of those old episodes still hold up. The format is a bit dated, but they were doing what they could with television. Nice. Yep. You know, they were doing what they could with the format at the time. It is what it is. But I don't know if somebody new coming into MST3K would get as much of a kick out of it as I did back in the day. There's definitely a little bit of a nostalgia kick with that kind of stuff when you watch it. Okay, what do we got going on here? Dun, dun, dun. Anything we can keep? Okay, we gotta feed our mag too. He's gonna get angry. Okay, our syncing is actually going fairly well, surprisingly enough. Okay. Sweet. We must be getting relatively close to the end of this level. Okay, can we get out of here? Are we... Okay, we're buffed a little bit. Sweet. Okay, and while we're getting there, I will show you guys a couple more things I got kicking around here. So I said that I didn't get anything off of Limited Run, but this is one I bought actually after, you know, posthumously, and that's Another World on the Switch. And I've been playing a lot of Doom lately on the Switch too. Fantastic port. But Another World is one of those games where I have bought that for so many systems and beat it so many times. I love that game. It is such a classic. It is one of those games that there's no way around it. You just need to grind to play it. It's an unforgiving platform. It is fantastic. It is so much fun. I've played it. I bought it digitally on GOG. I have a couple of physical copies for PC. I bought it on my 3DS. I bought it on my PlayStation 3 when I used to have an account still. I bought it on... Okay, where are we going? And I bought it on my Switch. Great game. Can't say anything negative about Another World. Flashback, its spiritual successor, is also a really great game. Okay, we're supposed to go through here. Okay, there's a door right there. Somebody already opened it up? Yes. Okay, sweet. There we go. Okay, I can't remember which one of these we're supposed to go through. Shit. Should have... No! Run away! Occasionally, even on some of the older streams... Oh, thank you very much. You'll notice that I have an Another World t-shirt, which I actually ended up getting only because I was watching a Lazy Game Reviews video, and they had it, and you know, before that channel got super popular, the guy who runs it, Clint, used to respond to people a lot more frequently, and I remember asking him, like, hey man, where did you get that awesome shirt? And he told me where he got it, and I had to buy one. It's actually a really good quality shirt. I think I got it off of T Fury, maybe? Sounds about right. I've picked up shirts from third-party vendors before that are just trash. I think the one I picked up one on eBay, and it was a print of an Akira print, and it looked really good for the first, I don't know, one washing machine cycle that I sent it through, and then after that it just gradually just fell apart, and I was really disappointed with that. I gave the eBay seller a good review, and then I washed it a few times, and I'm like, oh man, this sucks. Okay. Where are we going from here? Did we take care of that guy? Oh, okay. He's coming back up. And we can go through that door. I guess we don't necessarily have to stick around here, but we have monofluid. Sweet. I guess it's good just to kind of finish off these levels, just to say we did. Okay, let's get out of here and just get through it. This is... I'm gonna frustrate my team members if I don't hurry up. Okay, which way did you do? Oh, I guess I could have made it. Alright, well, we'll go through this way. Perfect. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. I think there's only 2 more doors before we get to the exit, if I remember correctly. Okay. Bang, 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 bang. And done. Sweet. Oh, we got 2 or 3. What level are we on right now? We're on level 12. So, okay, we got 3 levels. That's not bad. We're getting there. Where did that other guy go? Oh, maybe he already got taken out. Okay. Bang, bang, bang. And I didn't get paralyzed. Excellent. Whew. Okay. What do I got here? Gygus shield. Do I need it? Don't think I got it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, you can open up that door. And... Oh. No, we can't get through there, I don't think. Oh, wait, we can. Sweet. Okay, anything in here that we need? Star atomizer. I could always use that. Moon atomizer. Why not? Okay, and somebody already activated that panel. I think that's what's opened up the last door. Okay. This warp is taking us where? Okay, we already came here. Is this the warp we came through? No. Lost. Are we lost? Okay, that is the entrance, I think. Which way? Okay, I'm just going to follow the team, and we will all make this mistake together. Oh wait, this door was closed before, wasn't it? Okay, so I think... Okay, sweet. Okay, here's where we're going. Excellent. You know, it doesn't matter how many times I do this map, I always seem to get a little bit lost. Perfect. And speaking of movies that I watched so many times as a kid, and they never get old, and that little lecture I gave about holding on to your cash in uncertain times, well, I ended up doing a little bit of a splurge because I needed it, and it was the Shout Factory edition of Creepshow, which is one of my favorite films of all time. It's cool. It comes in this little collector's box, which is nice. It comes with a little book as well, and the actual movie. Now, what I like doing with movies that I can do this with, where if it's in a box or a case, standard case, is that if I have another version, so for instance Creepshow, I also have Creepshow 2, so I put it in a double case, and then I'll end up slipping the cover for the previous version in front of it. So you've got Creepshow 2, and then you've got Creepshow 1. It just, I don't know, it saves space on my shelf. I've got so many hundreds of Blu-rays and DVDs that I've really kind of got to conserve as much shelf space as possible. So if I combine movies, if possible, I'll end up doing that on my shelf just to kind of conserve shelf space. But that's another one where I didn't realize there was a full version of that movie until I was well into my adulthood. That's because it was one of those movies that I always remember watching as a kid on TV. It used to be one of those Sunday matinee movies. And it would stop before the last episode, where it was the episode with the guy who gets attacked by all the bugs. And I guess it was just for timing. It would only, like, the movie ran too long with commercials or something like that, and it would always cut out that one episode. So when I remember finally first watching it on VHS, I was like, oh my goodness, there's a whole other segment to it that I've never seen before. And Shout Factory delivers. They've got a lot of really cool extras. And actually the Blu-ray of Creepshow 2 I find a little bit cooler because it's got some really interesting interviews with the cast. Now, inferior movie by far, and Creepshow 3 is unwatchable. The series I've never gotten around to. I've heard mixed things about. But part 2, it had some episodes that I think at the time I thought were kind of scary, like the raft. Kind of had that Jaws effect on me as a kid, especially growing up in rural Ontario. You know, you were always uncertain of those things that you saw you couldn't see in the water. You know, watching it in high def, and you realize it's just kind of like this trash bag essentially floating around. The cool thing about it was listening to the commentary and the little mini documentaries they have each episode. And that episode in particular, there's a really cool interview / short documentary on the making of the raft and just how much the crew suffered through that production. Okay, sweet. Yep. You know, the lead getting hypothermia and like you know, still having to do the show and how they did it all on the water, and it required a ton of really like custom made rigs and stuff like that to get the cameras operating properly. It was like it sounded like a really painful shoot to go through, especially for the end product. Like it's got a bit of a cult following, but it's not a great movie by any means. But yeah, really interesting documentaries they have on that. In particular, like the Meet the Creeper documentary. So in Creepshow 2, it's interspliced with like some live action and animated shorts of the Creeper. And Tom Savini, makeup artist, he actually plays the Creeper, but it's voiced by somebody else. And he's going on about how interesting it was to make that makeup and make that character. And the character looks great, and actually the voice lines up really well. It sounds out of place because it doesn't sound like it's mixed in with the environment properly. The audio sounds like it's done in a studio, which obviously it was, and it was overdubbed, but it matches really well, which is quite important, I guess. Oh, cool. Okay, we're getting helped out here, which is excellent because I'm not going to last long otherwise. Okay, is he going to mount on here? Come on, jump. Make you jump. There you go. Okay, now what is this guy vulnerable to, do you think? Okay, we are out of... Mount him, mount him. Oh my goodness, the double entendres never stop tonight. Boom, boom, boom. Oh my goodness, is he dead already? No, he can't be dead already. Okay, where did he go? Come on, you. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Well, I'm tagging him for a little bit, but not much. Okay, now we're getting buffed. Sweet. Come on, you can do it. Oh no, oh no, oh no. These silly things. Okay, I don't think you get any XP for that, but... Oh no. Okay, sweet. Fluid. Oh, this is intense. This is intense. This is intense. Okay. Can't tell if this is doing... I don't think it's doing much. I think I'm only doing about 30 damage, but at least I'm connecting. Helping out the old team for what it's worth. 1 second here. And he's down. Sorry, I had to double check my my monitors over here. Thought I heard somebody looking for help in the old household. Oh, good. Escape doll. Amazing job. Thank you, Blue. Much appreciated. Could not have done it without you. Moon atomizer. Okay, I think we're good. Let's go back to good old Pioneer. Thanks, man. Big help. Yes, that was very kind of Blue to come in and help us low-level cretins. Much appreciated. Oh, and Citrus is going to be leaving us soon because they are quickly hitting number 20. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I don't think we got anything worth keeping, really, but let's feed our mag. Give item. Give item. Give item. Sweet. Okay, so the sink is way up. Let's put it in the bank. That way we preserve our sink. Deposit. Item. Yes. Okay, score. So we got that done. Now let's see if we can stock up on a couple of items. No worries, Blue. Much appreciated. Thanks for all the help. Okay, dye fluid. 6. Yes. Okay, sell. What do we got? Okay, let's see what's going on there. Okay, we might be able to add that later, but we don't really need to get rid of anything right away. Let's just check our weapons, see if it's worth keeping with the Tecker. Dun, 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 dun. Frost gun. Ooh. Oh no. Did I just back? Oh. Dang. No. Okay. Damn, I should have kept that frost gun. Why did I get rid of it? There we go. Yeah, let's equip it now. There we go. Thanks again, amigo. Okay, let's go back to the lobby. Check in, out. Thanks, everyone. Okay, let's go back to the lobby. Good job. Yeah, if the citrus makes it to 20, I would love to make it to 20. I'll be doing it sooner than later, but it's going to take me a little bit. Probably a couple more sessions. But as soon as you get to level 20, that's where the game really progresses and you really start flying up the level chain. So, let's see who's all here. Pretty empty house. Let's just log out properly. Quit game. And save. Cool. Well, that was a lot of fun. That was a good crew. I really like those guys. I'm glad we all have their guild cards, and it appears as though some of the people are in the stream, so that's good. So they're paying attention, and hopefully we can have another game another time in the near future. But that is it for now. Just wanted to show you guys. Whoops, there we go. Before we go, I just wanted to show you guys a couple of things that I also picked up recently. So nothing too crazy, but ended up getting the box set for, I always pronounce this guy's name wrong, but Shinya Tsusamoto. So he does, it's the Arrow box set, and it's all of his films on 4 Blu-rays. And he did like Tetsuo 1 and 2, which are some of my favorite movies of all time, but also some really good movies that not a lot of people have heard of. Like Tokyo Fist is fantastic, and Snake of June actually is really good as well. So I'm really glad to get that box set also. Not really much else. Like I was saying before, I'm not going to any yard sales. I'm not going into any thrift stores really. Just kind of hanging out and doing my thing, waiting for this nonsense that's happening on planet Earth to kind of figure itself out. But that does mean that I'll be able to do a little bit more live streaming, and hopefully I can get on again very shortly. So thank you everybody for watching. I hope to join you all very shortly, Saturday if I can. Please rate, comment, all that fun stuff if you haven't already. Check some of the links in the description. Support all those other people that are helping out with the community. If you really feel like it, you can jump into my Patreon. I've also got some donation links and things like that. And yeah, hopefully I will see you all again very shortly. In the meantime, just stay safe, take care, and yeah. Goodbye, good night, good luck. All right.